In the next part of this tutorial, we're going to start looking at how we make the barrel of the rifle and how we create the flash sectioning over the front here. So let's just have a look at that. In the final version of this piece, we can see here that what I've actually done is put rifling right the way down through the barrel, and I've added this section on as a separate piece. So what we're going to do first of all is we'll build the barrel, which is going to be this section, and then we'll look at how we build this flash section over the top afterwards. So without further ado, let's get back to the piece of work that we're doing. Don't want to save that for the moment. And where we are at the moment is we are currently working on, or have been working on, the rifle side. So I need to just bring back my viewport background. Yep, that's cool. And you can see here, this is our rifle barrel at the front. So all I'm going to do is I'll start off by creating a very simple cylinder. We'll just put one in. There we go. Now, there we have it. And I'll apply my base material onto that so we can see it. Let's just get rid of that grid. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start positioning that in world space. So I'll call up my move tool and I'll just say, yeah, we'll move that in there. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to get the height. So I'll come to my modify panel and I'll alter the height of the barrel. That's nice and easy. We're not worried about this section at the moment, and we're not worried about what's going on here either, because what we'll do, you'll see what we'll do later on. It's quite simple, quite straightforward. The thing that I do have to worry about is the placement in Y, and I think I'm going to alter that down here. I'll change that, make that 0, type in 0 on the keyboard, there we go. And I think probably X as well, we'll make that 0, there we go. It doesn't have to be exact to this image, obviously. And I think probably what I could do with doing is making that diameter a little bit more. We'll maybe make that 12 centimeters. That's a little bit better, a little bit more beefy, a little bit more chunky in what we're doing. And we'll just drag that down. Make it line. Yeah, I think that's probably about right. Let's have a look here. Yeah, that's a good size. So I'll make the number of sides 24, yeah. And we're going to turn the slice on. And I can never remember which bloody way this goes. So I want that to 0. There we go. And I'll want this round at 180. And let's have a look at that. Yep. That's nice. Maybe I'll take these number of segments down a little way, just make it 2. It's nice and simple. We're not really doing anything particularly difficult at the moment. And I'm just going to convert that to an editable polygon. My next stage is to select the segments at the bottom here and to use the extrude tool just to interactively extrude down onto those. And there we go. And I think possibly even moving away from that extrude tool, we want a little bit of a bevel at the end. So I'm now going to start playing around with altering the parameters here. I think it will probably go to there. I'll take this end segment and move along to the end there. And what I'm going to do is just to give me this little bit of realism that I'm looking for, is just to make that move. And you can see here at the end we've now got a nice chamfer, fairly big chamfer to start with, but that's fine, that's okay, we can live with that. And then I'll just take these bottom points here and I'll drag them down. So far so good. That was nice and easy, wasn't it? A couple of extra bits of detail that we've got to put in here. The first one is, let's grab that line, and if I come along here, I have to remember to loop that. Yep. If I come along here, you can see in this segment we've got something that comes up and a little bit of a divot here. So first thing I'll do is I'll chamfer this. There we go. And I'll move this line so that it fits here, right in the middle of where that divot is, so that I can then re-chamfer that again. And I'm going to use my chamfer settings for this, because otherwise I won't get the accuracy I'm looking for. There we go. And we can just move those around as much as we want. Here comes my vertex. Right. So that's that. That was all nice and simple. I'm not going to make that any more complicated than it needs to be. I think possibly we'll have one more section here. We'll use the ring tool and the connect tool. We'll make one more section there. Do we want to do that? Tell you what, there's an easy way of doing that. A much more elegant way of doing that. We'll remove that for the moment. And I'll take my vertices. Oh, look at that. I forgot to press the control button. So there we go. We'll move that back to here. And on the edge, or on the end rather, here, I'll select the polygons that make up the end. And I'll use my inset tool. And then my extrude tool. Whoop. There we go. And that's near perfect. That's fantastic. I like that. So the next thing I need to do is to select these two edges, loop them. Pressing the Shift key, I'll select polygons, which means it will select every polygon in between these two lines. And I will extrude as a local normal, and instead of being a positive amount, this is going to be a negative amount because we want it to come in. And I'll click OK. I'll then select these two edges and loop those. And again, pressing Shift selects all of the polygons there. We'll say extrude, and this time we'll make that a positive amount. There we go. And we can do exactly the same for this section. Loop, Shift, polygon. And because our extrude tool remembers our settings, I can just press the settings for extrude. That value that I extruded this first section by is remembered, and therefore these two extrusions come out by an identical amount. Very, very simple, very, very easy. So there's a nice piece of detail in there. Let's just run down the barrel here. And possibly what we want to do as well is we want to add some kind of a beveling on the bottom here. So I'm going to come to a full screen. And I'm going to select this edge and this edge. And let's try doing a loop. Yep, that works for me. I'll take out these two sections as well because I don't want to go. Actually, do I? Yeah, I'm going to leave those for the moment. I may well come back to this. So let's just save that for the moment. We can always come back. Let's have a look at that. What I'm interested in is what's going on down here. Okay, that's nice and simple. I can save that corner. That's excellent. Let's have a look at this. Oh, superb. That's actually better than I could have hoped for. That's brilliant. So if I apply that a second time, what I can actually start to create is a rounded corner on that base, and that rounded corner goes all the way through. So because we're using a sort of a Catmull way of working, we've got nice squares, we've got strips of polygons, and that's how we can get this nice effect here. So that's brilliant. Now what I am going to need to do is just rescue what's going on over here, because that looks like a bloody mess to me. And that's easily fixed, fortunately, by going into the vertex mode and using the target weld and just target welding things together. And let's see, I think probably target weld to there, target weld to there. Yeah, that wasn't ideal, was it? Let's... I don't know, maybe we'll have to leave that one. Maybe we'll have to leave it, just move it slightly so it doesn't interfere with what we're doing. Ah, no, there we go. That's our problem. Let's collapse those together. Yeah, much better. Much, much better. Okay, so let's do the same just around on this side. We'll use a target weld there. We'll grab those two and we'll collapse them. And then we'll move them in slightly in the y-axis. And then move that in the y-axis as well, very, very slightly. So far, so good. And that's the basics of it. What I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start booleaning through it. So if we come back to our view, you can see here we've actually got a line that goes all the way through. So what I'm going to have to do, and also some sections on the end here. So my first point is I want to add these bits on. And I'll make some cylinders. We'll try and get these cylinders to be as square as possible to the center there. Obviously there are better ways of doing this, but for the moment hand and eye is absolutely fine. And obviously because we're going to boolean all the way through, we want the height to be right. So there you go. We can boolean all the way through that. And I'll just select my main part of the barrel. And I'll make that a compound object. Pro Boolean, start picking. It's already set up for subtraction. There we go. Now, having done that, I have to ask myself a simple question. Am I making a bazooka? Don't think I am I? So let's just undo that for the moment. Take off start picking. And let's reselect this. And let's maybe make this a slightly more sensible diameter, shall we? There we go. I think that's still way too big, but never mind. Let's make that 3.5. Oh, yeah, that looks big enough. That's good. Okay, that'll work. So now coming back to here, start picking, and we'll take that out. That's good. Right click on the object, convert it to an editable polygon, select everything, and auto smooth the normals.